there any industry trends for diminishing returns? Like for fashion versus I don't know, like something else? Would fashion have like more like ability to continue sales the more you spend just because it's applicable to everything more than like a more niche industry?
Really good question. Okay. This is an early space. I'm sure Carl will tell you that, we all been working on this for many, many years. We're not at the point where we have industry benchmarks for these things. It's still too early for this. We use essentially common sense when, like, for example, Karthik, when you and I sit down and do work for a particular client, you will see me punch in common sense diminishing returns, right? I'll say like, okay, it's a small brand and they're spending this much, spending about $500,000 a month on Facebook or TikTok. If they double the spend, well, they're still kind of small, and going to $1 million a month, it's going to see something, but it's not going to diminish significantly. So I'm going to apply a 30% diminishing return on that, right? Or you might say, well, this is a small audience. They're working with interest as the audience. It's not broad audiences. And the audience is small. So they're going to max out the audience pretty quickly. It's going to saturate. It's going to drop pretty quickly. So I'm going to apply a much stronger diminishing return for that. So I use a lot of like common sense to apply diminishing returns for simulation purposes. Okay. When I'm trying to do feasibility analysis, sensitivity analysis, I do a lot of common sense. It would be great if we get to a place where we actually have tested diminishing returns for a variety of use cases that we can punch in and we get much stronger feasibility analysis outcomes. We're not there, honestly. So I would say, Carl, 5 years away from that to be able to do that, but doesn't feel
basically it usually boils down to the advertiser. Like Group M keeps their benchmarks. When I was at Essence, we look at our entire portfolio of tests that we run, but not many people share what they're seeing. And it's going to change over time. So realistically, you start with the rule of thumb and basic heuristics that you assume this and that and the other. The same thing is going to come up later when we talk about market mix modeling. There are power transformations which assume a curve of diminishing returns, and you test it out over time.
Do you think you could use like elasticity of demand in that industry as like a loose benchmark, kind of like when you're starting off to get a rule of thumb for it?
So a couple quick things. I come from the social sciences, but not economics. So elasticity is a term that's typically used either as a coefficient for regression, or some people actually talk about it in an elastic sense with a changing coefficient. So I can't answer your question because, to be honest, I don't know which version you're referring to.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Anyway, we'll come back to that. But as Carl's pointing out, there is no open industry library of these coefficients out there. It's still early, and it's going to build over a period of time. And if we live in an ideal world, then in about 5 years we should be able to have much more open, transparent information about this, so we can all get more efficient with how we buy media. Okay.